Watching guys, don't forget to subscribe, thank you. The Fly team is dispatched in Little Angel to have since Jamie Kellett and Scott Forrester split up in Season 3. But Ella's return adds nothing new to the series. FBI International did a variation of it in Episode 5, The Future's Looking Bright, is that Bryce Mayfield was aware he was working with an organized crime gang, but the overall concept is the same. For Wes and Ella's conflict, especially toward the end. Outside of Amanda, the other thing that Cameron doesn't have much screen time, given how much time the show spent rebuilding her friendship with Wes. Ella's return means for the show as a whole. The majority of Season 4's personal subplots center on Wes and something or someone from his past. It's not just heavily favoring one character or the character of Wes, both of whom have been excellent additions and have certainly filled the vacuum left. Loss of Wes' partner Mike Brooks, played by Ronrico Lee from Tyler Perry's Duplicity, made perfect sense. Shaped both Wes as an agent and his approach to his other agents as team leader. But then there was the repeating theme story or more about Cameron. This series has so much more to offer, and Wes, at the very least, needs a respite from all the stress that isn't him getting drunk in a bar.